FERENCVÁROS are back being MTK 4-1. Here is the player ratings. Now before we start, I just want to say we were excellent. This is the way to bounce back from the earlier loss in League 2-1. So without further ado, let's start. First up, our goalkeeper, Danish Dibus. This, it's an interesting one to grade, and I've always had a bit of difficulties grading him because this game he didn't necessarily need to do a whole lot. He made the decent saves. And you could say, yes, he did concede a goal, but if you actually watched it, you'd know that that was an own goal, so not entirely his fault. But again, just didn't really need him for any massive saves, but I think he had an alright game. So overall, I'm just going to go ahead and give him a 7. Next up is Raymakers. Now, I don't really know where to classify Raymakers because he was decent, honestly. He was probably not our standout player today. I feel like he made a couple of defensive errors, but I mean, overall, just kind of like Dibus didn't really have much job to do, and I feel like we could definitely see him improve and do better on this. I think he was, again, alright, so nothing really much to say for him. I'm going to go ahead and give him a 7 as well. Ibrahim Cisse. Now, Cisse was the one who got the own goal, actually, so, I mean, this is going to be an interesting one to grade. I think Cisse might have been one of our worst performers. I'm not going to say he was our worst, because he really wasn't, but one of our worst performers, and that is mainly due to the goal. I mean, it would have been great walking over here with a clean sheet. I think Dibus would have wanted that as well, but then he knocked in the own goal. You could always blame the player from the own goal, but for this perspective, I feel like he was just a bit unlucky there, really. But yeah, again, kind of like Dibus, just invisible, kind of, didn't really have that much jobs to do, but again, feel like on certain attacks he could have done maybe a bit better here and there, but overall I think he was decent. I'm going to go ahead and give him a 6.5. On to one of, I think, our best performing center backs, Gartman. So he is out with an injury at the minute. He got subbed off in the 20th minute, I believe, with an injury, so we'll see. I don't think we know exactly, at the time of recording this at least, we don't know what his injury is or how long he's going to be out for. Hopefully he's going to be back in time to play Ludogorets in the Europa League, but we'll see how that goes. He picked himself a reckless yellow, which is, you know, it's not great, but, you know, these things happen. You can't really blame the player necessarily all the time, so, yeah, he had to get subbed off, but for the time being that he was on, I think he did great. I mean, he got us the first goal that took us the lead, I think, at the 17th. So, yeah, overall, I think he was great. I'm going to go ahead and give him a 7.5. Next up is Kadu. So, I think he was alright down the wings. If I'm not mistaken, no, he didn't get an assist. So, he did not get an assist. Didn't get a goal contribution tonight, but I feel like he was great feeding the balls in personally. I think around the third goal, I think he contributed a lot to that. I mean, he whipped in good balls with the corners as well. I think he took a corner. I'm not entirely sure about that, though, but I think he just had a decent game. Again, nothing really to complain about for most of our lads here today. The Eagles did pretty good, so 7. Gabi Kanikovsky. Now, he got himself an assist, if I'm not mistaken. There's just a lot of goals, a lot of happening, so I can't really remember all this, but I'm pretty sure he got himself an assist. It was a decent assist as well. I think Kanikovsky had a decent game as well, so yeah, 7.5. On to what I think is going to be a bit of a controversial one is Tot Olex. So I'm going to go ahead and give him a 6.5, and I'll explain to you why in a minute. 6.5 is what I'm getting, because he wasn't, I just didn't think we saw the best of Tot Olex today. I think one of our worst performers, probably. But again, not like that. I'm not saying that he played badly. I think personally he played decent, but I just feel like we could see a lot better from him. Some of the passes were a bit off. Some of the shots that he took, I just think personally wasn't exactly great. Probably partly the reason why he got subbed off. So, don't think it was best performance, but I do think we could just one of those games where, you can't really play at your best. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and give him, that's 6.5. Next up is Jombor Gruber. So, he got himself an assist. It was pretty good. I mean, he didn't exactly get himself a goal. I feel like he definitely could have gotten himself a goal. He did miss quite a couple key chances today, but I think for the most part he was great. Again, got himself an assist. I think Robbie Keane specifically worked on him tonight because I didn't predict him to be in the starting 11, but given the fact that he was, I think Robbie Keane specifically trained him for this exact time where he could just get into the open spaces, because I think before what his problem was he couldn't get into the open spaces. So, like, he was stuck behind the man and couldn't really get into a good position where maybe a Kadu or Kanikovsky, someone like that, could pass it to him. Whereas now I feel like he was more open and more aggressive, and I think that led to him getting an assist, and didn't exactly get himself a goal today, but I think he was pretty good, so 7.5. Barnabas, no. I mean, another one of those where I did not predict them to be in the starting 11 today. I think Keane was probably rotating quite a lot here, as you could see from a couple of newcomers coming out there. Modaras, Listas, I'll get to those a little bit later. But I think he was definitely rotating a lot today, and Nud as well. I feel like he was just overall a great player for us, and I think he proved it today as well. Nothing really stand out that he did today, in my opinion. I mean, he got himself a goal, yes. I'm just remembering that, but nothing too stand out, I think he was just alright. Again, the goal adds probably another 0.5, maybe a 1, so I'm going to go ahead and give him a 7.5. Now on to Vodka Barnabas. He's Vodka, right? I think 3, if I'm not mistaken, out of our 4 goals were headers, and of course, if there's headers, Vodka scores it. So he's our main man up front, can never really take him off. He starts for basically every game unless he's injured, so personally, yeah, I think he did a pretty good job out there today, and I think that reflects off the score that I'm going to give him. I'm going to give him our highest score so far in being an 8. Up next, Christopher Zachariasen. So he was, I can't exactly remember when, but he was put up to play striker, which is why I'm doing him right now and not in the midfield category. He was switched on to play striker, and I think Listas went in first place at midfield, but had no complaints from him really at midfield. And striker, I mean, I feel like it's not his natural position. I don't feel like he really impacted the game that much up there, but giving the youngsters a chance, and I feel like that's great from Robbie Keane. I feel like that's what we want to see. So yeah, I mean, no complaints from him. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a 7. Soloy. Now he it's an interesting one. I don't know what I want to do with him. I kind of feel like putting him in man of the match, honestly. I'm not too sure, though, because he came on for Garden Man in the 20th minute when he got that injury, and he was outstanding. Most of the balls stopped coming in through the midfield. He got himself, not the midfield, for the defense. He got himself a goal, and he was just overall really aggressive, and I think you could see the passion. I think that he really wanted to prove that he could do this, and I think now that Garden Man's injured, which we hope he recovers soon. But now that he's injured, I think Sully is going to definitely want to prove to Robbie Keane that he is the man for the job. And I think this is definitely a big opportunity for him. But again, I think he had a good game. I'm going to go ahead and give him an 8. Next up, another one of our bench players, substitutes, Mohamed Aboufani. I was expecting him to start. I don't know if this is just resting or if he just was not in good form. But when he came out onto the pitch today, I expected more from him. That's all I'm going to say. And again, it's not like I feel like he had a bad performance. I think he had a decent performance, as did everyone, as I'm saying, but just didn't really help the game. Just made a couple of passes here and there. Maybe took a shot, if I believe. But, overall, I think he got himself an assist, but not entirely sure. I think he was decent, though, so 7. Next up, one of our newcomers, Madaras. So I didn't know what to expect when Keane brought him on, because I was a bit... I understood it. I think he came on before the 3rd goal. I can't remember, but I think before the 3rd goal. And I think he was, again, probably not that great for us. They're probably one of our worst players, if not the worst player on the pitch there. But, again, you can't really blame him. He hasn't really, I don't think he's played a single game this season yet. And I think takes time to get used to this. So if Robbie Keane plays him more, maybe in the next cup tie against... That's all I gotta say. I think he could probably get more and do better, but today I just don't feel like he was at it necessarily, so 6. Lenny Joseph. So, Joseph, I think he was one of our more disappointing players out there today. Like, if I had to pick one, probably he would be it, because I just didn't feel that he necessarily wanted it. And I know that we were in the lead at the time, and I know that it felt like we were unstoppable, but when he came on, I just don't feel like I just didn't feel a passion. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. And personally, for me, I like when players show passion. I really do like that. It shows that they really want to be a part of the squad. They really want to come in there and do something. Today, just didn't really feel the fire that I think we normally see from him. Got himself an assist, but yeah, just think we overall could be seeing better for him, so I'm going to go ahead and give him a 6.5. Christian Listesh. He, again, alongside Madras, just was another disappointing player, but again, it's an interesting one because I think we put him on loan at Frankfurt, or maybe Frankfurt bought him permanently. Yeah, Frankfurt bought him permanently. He got injured and didn't, which is horrible in my opinion. Don't even think he really started much games. And then Frankfurt said we don't need him, and he sent him back to us. So, and here he is now, playing for us once more. And once more, I don't feel like he's delivered. So, nothing much to say on him. Really came on in around the 80th minute, so couldn't really see much, but just kind of invisible for the most part, I feel like. So, I'm going to go ahead and give him a 6. And that right there concludes the player ratings. What are your thoughts? I want to know.